Hoi, ik ben Jim van Bax Music en vandaag gaan we het hebben over het nieuwe EO1 systeem.
Bax Music is the biggest music store of Holland and Belgium. Our goal is to give you the best music experience of your life. With music events both in-store and on location, we want you to experience the true sound of music. We interview national and international artists about what inspires them to make music. Music is in our soul, and we want to inspire you with our music sessions. Our product demos and reviews provide you with the best information.
Hoi, ik ben Jim van Bax Music en vandaag gaan we het hebben over het nieuwe EO1 systeem.
Bax Music is the biggest music store of Holland and Belgium. Our goal is to give you the best music experience of your life. With music events both in-store and on location, we want you to experience the true sound of music. We interview national and international artists about what inspires them to make music. Music is in our soul, and we want to inspire you with our music sessions. Our product demos and reviews provide you with the best information.
Hoi, ik ben Jim van Bax Music en vandaag gaan we het hebben over het nieuwe EO1 systeem.
Bax Music is the biggest music store of Holland and Belgium. Our goal is to give you the best music experience of your life. With music events both in-store and on location, we want you to experience the true sound of music. We interview national and international artists about what inspires them to make music. Music is in our soul, and we want to inspire you with our music sessions. Our product demos and reviews provide you with the best information.
Hoi, ik ben Jim van Bax Music en vandaag gaan we het hebben over het nieuwe EO1 systeem.
Bax Music is the biggest music store of Holland and Belgium. Our goal is to give you the best music experience of your life. With music events both in-store and on location, we want you to experience the true sound of music. We interview national and international artists about what inspires them to make music. Music is in our soul, and we want to inspire you with our music sessions. Our product demos and reviews provide you with the best information.
Hoi, ik ben Jim van Bax-shop en vandaag gaan we het hebben over het nieuwe ADE systeem.
Bax Music is the biggest music store of Holland and Belgium. Our goal is to give you the best music experience of your life. With music events both in-store and on location, we want you to experience the true sound of music. We interview national and international artists about what inspires them to make music. Music is want to inspire you with our music sessions. Our product demos and reviews provide you with the best information.
Hoi, ik ben Jim van Bax Music en vandaag gaan we het hebben over het nieuwe ADE systeem.
Bax Music is the biggest music store of Holland and Belgium. Our goal is to give you the best music experience of your life. With music events both in-store and on location, we want you to experience the true sound of music. We interview national and international artists about what inspires them to make music. Music is in our soul, and we want to inspire you with our music sessions. Our product demos and reviews provide you with the best information.
Hoi, ik ben Jim van Bax Music en vandaag gaan we het hebben over het nieuwe ADE systeem.
Bax Music is the biggest music store of Holland and Belgium. Our goal is to give you the best music experience of your life. With music events both in-store and on location, we want you to experience the true sound of music. We interview national and international artists about what inspires them to make music. Music is in our soul, and we want to inspire you with our music sessions. Our product demos and reviews provide you with the best information.
Hoi, ik ben Jim van Bax Music en vandaag gaan we het hebben over het nieuwe ADE systeem.
Bax Music is the biggest music store of Holland and Belgium. Our goal is to give you the best music experience of your life. With music events both in-store and on location, we want you to experience the true sound of music. We interview national and international artists about what inspires them to make music. Music is in our soul, and we want to inspire you with our music sessions.
Check this out. Check this out.
Our product demos and reviews provide you with the best information.
Hoi, ik ben Jim van Bax Music en vandaag gaan we het hebben over het nieuwe ADE systeem.
Bax Music is the biggest music store of Holland and Belgium. Our goal is to give you the best music experience of your life. With music events both in-store and on location, we want you to experience the true sound of music.
to the Protocol Masterclasses. We're gonna start off with Sam Void. For the people that don't know him, he did an amazing remix for Future Funk from Nicky Romero. And he did a song, Radical, that he's gonna produce or that he's gonna do his masterclass about today. So we're gonna start off with Sam Void. After Sam, you can ask him some questions. After that, we have Blinders, and then we have Nicky. And after Nicky's session, we have like a demo drop where you can drop your demos and get feedback from Protocol. So, take care.
Hello guys, welcome. So yeah, I'm going to explain my track Radical that got released 2 weeks ago on the ADE sampler from Protocol. And yeah, my aim for today is to give you some insights on how I created this track, and I hope I can give you some tips that you can use for your own productions. I cannot go into detail on every single track, but I will explain the most important one. And yeah, I will start with the drop, and after that in a different project, the break. But I will first play the track for you, because I don't know if you all heard the track, but yeah, let's take a listen. Even kijken hoor. Jorik, waar kan hij iets zachter? Ja, hij staat vrij zacht al. Ik kan hem nog wel zachter zetten hoor. Maar. Alleen is hij in Logic wel... kijk, zet ik de master wel wat zachter. Yeah, I think you get the idea. The second drop is kind of the same as the first drop. So I'm gonna start with the drop. I got inspired by a track from Daft Punk called The Funk, and I was watching a tutorial from Mike Hawkins. He showed how he created this track Louder, and I really liked his bass sound. So for his channel strip from his bass sound was my starting point for my bass line actually, and it sounds like this. I made it more acid, shorter notes, and yeah. So that's the main bass, and I created it with Monarch. You can use Monarch with Reactor from Native Instruments, and it's a simulation of the Minimoog, and it's an analog popular synthesizer. And you have 3 oscillators right here. You can adjust the volume here, turn it off and on. You have a noise and the feedback knob. And I automated the feedback knob, and what it does, it's rerouting the output back into the synthesizer just before the filter stage. And well, you can hear the sound changing when I play it. So yeah, I have a lot of plugins on here. I will turn it off so you can hear the basic sound. And first there's the guitaric for distortion, and I made it a bit wider with the stereo tune. And after that, the OTT plugin from X ADE. It's a really cool compressor, and yeah, from X ADE, you should check it out. Only watch out when you open it, it's always on 100% depth, and you should bring it back to at least 50%, because else it's compressing way too hard. After that, the sausage fattener for, well, you probably know that one, for distortion, gain, make it a bit more softer. Then the Fab Filter EQ with a low cut on it to cut off all the low frequencies, because I also have a sub layer over here. So yeah, after that, the imager and the isotope imager to make it a bit more wider in the mid and the high range. Then the Logic EQ with a high cut, I automated that one. And again, a Fab filter boosted in the low, mid frequencies and the high frequencies. And the kickstart from Nicky Romero for the sidechain. Well, you can sidechain with in a lot of ways. You can use a compressor or the LFO tool, and this is just a really easy way to sidechain your sounds. And the last one is the Fab filter limiter. I use this one to cut some peaks. So basically this is how I started with the track, just with this bass line and with the kick. And after that I started to add layers, and I think the most important layer is this Afrojack kind of sound. And as you can see, I used Nexus for it. Commercial Dutch preset, well, not so much special going on there. An imager, Fab filter, and again the kickstart. Yeah, oh, and I also use the reverb. I'm using the reverb with a send, so I send the signal to an auxiliary track. I have the Valhalla on it. Long pre-delay, because I want the reverb to be on the back so that the sounds is still on the front. And again, the kickstart on it for the sidechain. And in this way you can send more layers to that reverb so that it all goes to the same reverb. And then the second bass layer, I used Serum for it, and it's the same sound I used for my track Reachless. I released Reachless also this year, and well, Serum, I really like Serum. I use it for more tracks, and I think the most important plugin, again, a lot of plugins, it's not necessary to use all these plugins, you can do it with less, but for me it's I used it to get this sound, and I think it worked. The most important one is the Wow filter from Sugar Bytes. It's a four-month filter, and you can modulate the cutoff with an LFO or an envelope or a step sequencer, and if it turn it off, you hear it. So it definitely changed the sound. Then the second bass layer. Yeah, I think I added this one to for the high frequencies, a little bit dirtiness for the high frequencies. Again, Nexus. And then we have the sub layer. I used Massive for it, and the LFO tool for the sidechain. So if you hear it with the kick together, and it's a square wave, by the way, and I cut off all the high frequencies because I only need the low frequencies for the sub. And then a noise sound I made with silent and a tom. Well, I added this one just to give it a bit more attack. So now we have all the bass layers, and then if I play it with the kick, it sounds like this. Yeah, this is how I started, and after that I started adding the drums and a saw lead. I have 4 layers for it, and I build it up, and at the end, the last part of the drop, it's only playing the root note, the ground note of the track, D flat. And that way, it's good for the energy of the track, I think, to build up again, and then the last part is still interesting of the drop. I used Silent for it, Nexus, and the Monarch again from Reactor. So, and then I added a pluck sound, and this is a kind of counter melody, also to make the drop more interesting. And I used Spire for it, and it's a sound I made 3 years ago. I made a bank I released on Identity Records, and I still use those sounds. It's actually the Year from Deororo kind of sound. If I play it, you can hear it. But it also works really good for this plug sound. And some samples. Yeah, I use Splice a lot. For the guys who don't know Splice, it's a website where you can download samples and share projects. And well, the cool thing of it is that you don't need to download sample packs. You can just search for one sample and download only that sample. So now we have the plug, the saw leads, the kick, and the bass, and it sounds like this. And then let me show you my fill-in. Again, also I think most of the samples just from Splice, and I cut them and kind of made my own fill-in out of it. Also 2 vocal samples over here. So that's my fill-in, and the drums. Let me see, a snare, 3 right samples, and hi-hats, and a tambourine for the 16 notes. And well, on the most samples I have an EQ on it to cut off all the low frequencies, that you still have space for the bass sounds. And then let me see the step samples, just to give the first count a bit better impact. I think also that I downloaded from Splice. And the noise samples and the FX sounds. Well, the other FX sounds are in the Break project. But basically this is the drop and a snare that I also used for the intro to build up. So that's basically this is the drop. I will show you now how I made the break. So I work in Logic X, and I always have two projects, one for the break, one for the drop, because as you can see, I have now 71 tracks, and altogether with the break it's 150, and it's, well, my computer, it can handle it, but it's a bit too much, so that's why I have two projects for it. And I also use Ableton, but only for my mashups and bootlegs, because I think the time stretching algorithm is better from Ableton. But my tracks basically in Logic, I started with Cubase 5 years ago, and now, yeah, I only use Logic. So this is the break project. I always try to use groups to keep it organized with, well, we have the vocal, the bass sound, synths, drums, and the FX sound. And the break, I started with the vocal. Oh, let me turn it down.
Get radical, take action. Get radical, take action. Get radical, take action.
So I recorded myself, and this was the first take I recorded.
Get radical, take action.
And I pitched it down 4 semitones with this plug-in pitch wheel.
Get radical,
Well,
take action.
now you can hear my voice. Yeah, I sent it to an auxiliary track again, and I have some plugins on there. I used Nectar from Isotope for saturation, de-esser, FX sound for distortion. The Nectar is just an easy way to, well, to have a good sound really fast. And after that, I added I have the glue compressor. I also use the glue compressor a lot. I think it's a really good compressor. You can use it as a parallel compression. So when you compress it really hard and you have it on dry, and you can, well, you can decide where to, how much compression you want. I think that's really nice. Then I have the Fab Filter EQ. I cut a lot of frequency over here, the low-mid frequencies, because I have more vocal layers, so I needed more space over there. And I cut some high frequencies. And again, the Fab Filter limiter to cut some peaks.
Get radical, take action. Get radical.
So normally when I have a vocal, you always have frequencies that are not so nice, and so I want to cut them. And how I do it, I have a really small cue, and then I'm playing it. And the cool thing with the Fab Filter, you can click on this mic, on this headphone right here, and you can search for the frequencies you don't like. So when I play it,
get radical.
And then you can take it down. So I think that's a good way to delete all the annoying frequencies. So that's the first vocal layer. Then I duplicated this one and pitched it 1 octave down, and it sounds like this. So that's the bass layer of the vocal. And at the end, I also recorded again my vocal, and because I thought it was not aggressive enough.
Get radical, take action.
So I added this this layer, and the most important one for me is this one.
Get radical, take action. Get radical.
So it sounds like a vocoder, but it's a TalkBox plugin I used from, I think, let me see, MDA. It's a free plugin. And the cool thing of it is that you can use any synthesizer. I used Silent for this one. And you can, I sent Silent to bus 32, and within the TalkBox plugin at the sidechain, I choose bus 32. So now I can, wait, let me play it.
Get radical.
you can just search for a cool preset or make your own sound, and well, you get a unique vocal sound, I think. So that's a nice way to have a vocoder sound, only make it more original. Also have the vocoder from Logic, and it's playing the chords with the second one is playing the chords. The first one is playing the ground note again, the D flat. And one more vocal layer is my girlfriend. I recorded her as well. So you could call her our first duet, because it's the first time we're both in the same track.
Get radical, take action, get radical.
So I pitched her up, and you can hear it in the build-up. So this is the vocal, and after that I made the vocal together with the bass, and it sounds like this.
Get radical. Take action. Get radical. Take action. Get radical. Take action.
So I have a couple of bass layers. The sub layer I made with Juggernaut. It's a library you can use with Contact. I bounced it now, but over here you have the Contact. And yeah, it's a cool synthesizer or a cool library for analog bass sounds. Really fat sounds. And I also use the Monarch again, the same sound I used in the drop, only now longer notes. And I also made some cool effects with the Monarch. I bounced it and automated again the feedback knob and the contour knob, and I reversed it, and then I had this, and I pitched it up. Yes, and I have a third layer, and it's the 16-note bass line. So the sub is more for the mono part. Then I have the Monarch bass for the low mid range, and this 16 bass is more on the sides and a little bit in the back. I made it with massive, and silent. Well, I can show you which sounds, but not that much special going on. I send it all to a bus, and I have the wow filter again on it from Sugar Bites, Sausage Fattener, Elevoto. And then we have the synth layers. So the first synth layer I added was this one. It's a massive pad kind of brassy kind of sound because of the long attack you have. It sounds like a brass sound, and yeah, it's playing the third notes of the chord. And let me see, I used the sample delay from Logic to make it more wider. I'm using this plugin a lot to every sound in your track needs a play. So the bass line is more the low mid frequencies, and this one is the higher frequencies. But I also have the vocal in the mono part. So this sound needs to be more stereo, and that's why I use the sample delay and the Valhalla reverb again to have it more in the back. And then we have an offbeat guitar. It's just a Logic guitar, the EX24, and I think the phaser is important for this sound. Logic phaser. And I have a tremolo on it, I see, and Valhalla reverb again, Fab filter. I got a lot of frequencies over here. I think because of the vocal is also in the same frequencies here. And then we have this, the chords of the track. And it's a dead mouse kind of pad I made with Silent. Yeah, let me see which sound I use. I think important if you want a sound like this is the way you have the MIDI. So this is those are the bass notes, and the middle notes are the fifth notes, and the higher notes are the third notes, so the major minor notes. And this way you have the dead mouse kind of chords. I think that works really well. Then I have two more sounds over here I use for the build-up. And the flute sound, it's a sound I found on Splice. And I pitched it again with the pitch wheel. Yeah, and if you hear the break without those two sounds, I think it's way more boring. Those sounds are not the lead sounds, but they definitely add something to the track, make it more special. So yeah, what we have right now is the bass, the vocal, and the synths all together. And then we have the drum sounds. Let me see, I have a kick right here. And it's actually the first time I used the reverb on the kick for the break. I think it works. And the right, a hi-hat, 1/8 notes, and again a hi-hat, and the snare. And the snare roll for the build-up. And after that, let me see the FX sounds. Well, just some impacts and sweeps. I made this up filter myself. It's like a Swedish House Mafia up filter. And you can find a lot of tutorials on YouTube how to make it. Let me play it for you. So, yeah. Well, by the way, I use tutorials from YouTube a lot to learn more how to make sounds. You know, I think that's if you're a starting producer, that's the way to learn the basics. Just by watching a lot of YouTube tutorials and try to remake some tracks. I think that's a good way to learn how to produce dance music. Yeah, I have this is not the file. After this, I bounced everything, by the way, to audio, and I mixed the whole project with the break and the drop together in a stem project. So this is not the final version, and also not the final mastering. But I can show you what I normally do with my mastering. I have a cue on it from Fab Filter. I have the Brainworks Digital V2 for to make it wider with the stereo wide, and you can also make it mono right here. And the nice thing is you have the mono section on the left and the stereo section on the right, so you can, well, I added a little bit in the stereo at, I think, 6,000 hertz. It's a cool plugin to make it the whole track wider. And then I have a Fab filter limiter on it to cut the peaks. Then the glue compressor again to compress it little bit more, and then the invisible delimiter from HOM, and this is a really nice plugin to make it really loud. I always have this one on it. It's not on right now, but and then the last plugin is again the FabFilter limiter. I'm not gaining anything. It's just to see if there's nothing distorted or something. It's that it's not too loud. And let me see. Oh yeah, I also have this plugin on it, the Magic from Sample Magic. You can use it to load some tracks, and then you have reference track, so you can use the A and B knob to hear different tracks and compare it with your own track. That's basically it.
The best music experience of your life. With music events both in-store and on location, we want you to experience the true sound of music. We interview national and international artists about what inspires them to make music. Music is in our soul, and we want to inspire you with our music sessions. Our product demos and reviews provide you with the best information.
Hoi, ik ben hier van Bax Music en vandaag gaan we het hebben over het nieuwe ADE systeem.
Bax Music is the biggest music store of Holland and Belgium. Our goal is to give you the best music experience of your life. With music events both in-store and on location.
Oh, damn. Let me figure it out. Okay. Okay, so hello everyone, my name is Blinders, and I'm here to tell you something about my production tips, how I make music and stuff like that. And for this occasion I prepared my last track project called Hero. So I think the best way to start will be just to show you how it sounds.
See me as I am. I want you to need me. Nothing's ever easy, but I like to fight, and I want you to be mine tonight. And I can be your hero for a day. Show you all the things you can do, 'cause I can be your hero for a day. I'll show you that I love is true.
Let me be your hero. Let me be your hero. Let me be your hero. Let me be your hero.
I'll show you.
I want you to live.
I'll show you. I'll show you.
I'll show you. I'll show you.
I'll show you. I'll show you.
I'll show you.
Yeah, so this is pretty much like this. And the track, in my opinion, comparing to other tracks of mine, it's really simple because I built all mix down around the vocal parts. So let me show you maybe for the first part just the vocals. We have some ad-libs I did by sampling. For example, this one you heard, it's like just cutted part of the vocal. And the next ones,
Come a little closer, see me as I am. I want you to need me.
so this is the main
Nothing's
vocal.
ever easy.
And to be honest, if I remember correctly, I just had just one part of the vocal from the vocalist, but I realized it's not enough to fill the mix down. So I copied it like for the other tracks and made some tweaks. For example, this one, it's like pitched down. So it's just the same vocal, but I used it like pitched, and it creates like chorus or something. I have other ones. This is a other pitch down, but this is on the different channel and has different effects. I will talk about it a little bit later. And this is a little bit funny, but creates really good high ends with when you play all this together. And I really want to explain you how I think about my track producing with working with the vocals, but I thought about it how to show you that, and maybe the best idea is to open this magic tool called Paint, and I will draw some, let's say it's box, you can see it from the skies, and this is your head, this is your left speaker, and this is your right speaker. So if, for example, if you get a gift from your boyfriend or girlfriend or parents or anybody, if you get this really big, you're supposed to have something big inside. So for me, it's the same like with the sound. If I have like big box of the, you know, of the room I am with, I really hope it's gonna be filled with the sounds. But how I make it, it's like, let's take this vocals. For example, this line will be mono because, as you know, probably mono is just the sound in the middle of the panorama of stereo. So main vocal should go with the mono.
I can be your hero for a day.
Because if you keep sound mono, it's supposed to be more on your face because it's not distorted by, you know, when you're panoraming something, you get stuff there, and it's going more muddy. And if you have mono, it's like on face. So I keep the main vocal on mono.
I can be your hero for a day.
That's why I used compression with mono on it. This is a really cool tool. If you don't know it, it's from Waves, and it's called C6, and you have like 6 bands, and it's compression, so it's not like normal compression because you can use those bands and tweak them in other ways in every part of your sound.
I can be your hero for a day.
So for example, here it's a little bit cut, here it's high.
'Cause I can be your hero.
And it's much better than equalizer for me because with equalizer you're just cutting sounds and not boosting sounds. But here it's a little bit different because if you use that, you at the same time have a compression on it. So with mastering, you can get it a little bit more louder, in my opinion, than just simple equalizing. But of course I have some equalizer too. I just cut this frequency
for a day.
because in some word I remember it just like big bomb and I didn't like it. I have also vocodecs, but it's not on, so I guess it was just to check something. So coming back to this beautiful painting, let's say the vocal is here, but as you can see, I have a lot of buses here, which are there, connected with these green lines.
I can be your hero.
So while this vocal is playing, at the same time, it's playing in these channels, and
I can be your hero for a day.
And for example, the main part, I make it more stereo to fill this box. It's a delay, because as you can see, I have a delay maximum on the left and maximum on the right, and there is also wave plugin called H delay, and it's just simple, really short feedback to not make it like a effect we use for the delay. Usually, like it has some tail. Here it's just about to make stereo, so feedback is minimum, and you use delay with the milliseconds. So here it's 16 milliseconds, and on the second channel I have different value. It's 56. I believe it's enough to have a difference for your ears. So while this vocal is playing in the mono, with these buses I have it like also, let's say, here and here. So we just filled a little bit the box, and it goes with other buses at the same rule. For example, this, it's just a Valhalla vintage verb, which I really like. You can use some of sets like plate, room, chamber, everything, and you can play with it in a lot of ways. I use it there and there. So for now I have 2 delays on the left and the right. I have 2 verbs on it, and I can see it's also some delay, and this is the real delay with the big tail. I use Nasty DLA. It's free plugin I really like, so you can easily go to the internet and download it, and it really works well. But usually when I'm bussing some channels, I'm not really into leaving it like with only effect. I'm using, as you can see, there is a FOB filter. So
I can be your hero.
I'm using it for it because, as you can see, there is a lot of frequencies out of this.
I can be your hero.
This region I use
I
for
can
it
be your hero.
because I don't really want this delay to go everywhere when the lead vocal goes, because then it's gonna, sound at the same time. All of these sounds will be like main sounds, and I want it just for fill the space a little bit. So I use these frequencies, and I believe it's okay. I also distorted it a little bit to have
I can be your hero for a day.
Without the distortion, it sounds, more soft, and I really wanted to have this delay like harsh. That's why I use Camel Crusher. It's really good plugin.
I can be your hero for a
Also,
day.
I really using it a lot. It's from Isotope, and it's Stereotope. I have stereogram here, so I can see what's going on with the stereo signal with my sound. And in this case, I had some phase problem with the delay. I don't know from where it comes, but when you have the phase problem,
I can be your hero.
you can see it goes more on the left and right of the stereogram, and also this part goes on the -1. And to have your natural stereo effect, you need to keep it on the plus one. There is not only different way. So if you have a phase problem, you can see it goes on the minus, but it's easy, just you inverting it, and then it goes back. Oh no, sorry.
Show you all things you can do, 'cause I can be your hero.
And also with the delays it's different because it's more for the main sound. You need to really be careful to put your sounds on the plus one, because then your mix is going to sound a little bit not natural. On it I have also Lex chamber. And at the end, to finalize all this stereo signal, I'm using also Imager S1 by Waves. It's really simple plugin, but it gives really nice effect, because this is like, let's say it's something like this box. You can, you know, set it where you want it. For example, this is gonna be mono. This is gonna be not really mono, and this is super wide. So using this, telling us that the delay is gonna be somewhere there, like this is an impression, it's like out of box, because you're using, this is like critical point. This is like when you have the sound, you know, in the corner of your box. If you're going out of it, it's like not natural, but sometimes it works really well. Okay, I talk about the vocals too much maybe. So with other parts of the vocal, I use just pitched down, as I told you. I keep it mono with the stereo enhancer. It's just a built-in FL Studio plugin. There is also C6, as you can see, there is a different setup. Because when I pitch it down, it has something like it loses a lot of high frequencies. So sometimes I just tweak it in some compression or equalizer. I have also compressor by FL Studio, a little bit reverb, doubler, which is, I can't explain how it works exactly, but you can hear it without it. Whoa, what's going on? I guess it's too much latency. Maybe I will close some windows. I don't know if you can hear it well, but when I open the plugin, it creates something like stereo image. It's a little bit coarse, I guess, because it duplicates your sound and put it on the sides. So that's how it works. Nasty DLA, one more time. Fruity reverb, but it's turned off because probably I have some automation on it, and in some parts it just, you know, leaves the tail. For example, when I have a little bit break in the middle of the vocal, it's gonna turn off to fill the space. And Nasty DLA one more time. So this vocal, it's more on the sides, because as you can hear, I will just play you the effect vocals. I hope you're gonna hear something, because so there is a free vocals, and we have lead vocal. Without it, it sounds a little bit dry. So yeah, that's pretty much with the vocals. I also have something like the background vocal, which is also sampled from the original one. Maybe when you you listening to the track, you don't really pay attention of this kind of parts of sounds, but it really helps to fill the space. Oh, I need to turn on some automations because it's cutting something. There is a lot of it. Yeah. Okay, so this sound, it's just sounds a little bit funny, but I cut it on the track. And this is just reversed part, and it sounds unreversed like this. So it's stretched word U. And also it's pitched down, as you can see. Normally it's... Now you can see. Yeah. Okay. The next part of the track, maybe I will go just through the synths. This is kind of flumey sound, I guess. This is the melody of it. It's just simple chords, nothing special. But I think the magic is here. It's also really simple. I made it from the init. I just using Serum for that. I guess you know the synthesizer. This is just the impression of it. It's just in envelope, because as you can see, when the sound is going, it's like triggering the attack. Because if I put it like that, it sounds like this. Yeah, and this modulating just cutoff. So it's just simple cutoff, like you can make on equalizer or something. So as you can see, it works with that envelope. On the FXs I used some dimension, distortion, phaser, chorus, and delay. Yeah. And this is like the part I used for the breakdown mainly, but I used a little bit different preset. This is totally different sound, but it's based on this I showed you just before. It's just a little bit different with the waveform, and of course now the filter is modulated by LFO, which you can see how it works there. This creates this wobbly kind of sounding, and with effects it's just the same. So with the breakdown, when the vocal goes, it's like,
see me as I am. I want you to need me.
sorry for the latency, but I don't have the sound card there, and this is a really big project, so sometimes it has some latency.
See me as I am.
Yeah, and the second part is on the drop, because I just wanted to fill a little bit only because as you can, I can show you one more time the drop of the track. You don't really hear that sound there, but it is there, and it makes on the drop it's just mainly one bass line, one plug, and the vocal, and I thought it's not too much. So I had to think about how to fill the space with some other sounds, and this is one of those. Another sound I use, I really like this one. It's kind of like Skrillex sound, let's say. This is also 2 presets, because for the first one I use this. And the difference is about the LFO, because the first one goes like wow, and the second is more complicated. So I didn't want to make some automations on the LFO or something. I just did 2 voices, the same preset. It's also modulated, filter is modulated by LFO. It's band filter, so if I turn it on, maybe I will just loop it. So as you can see, band is controlling this kind of talking kind of sound, because it's sliding through the frequencies, and this is the effect, final effect. I have also the same LFO, because when I'm doing this kind of sounds, I believe it's better to not complicate too much and use only one LFO for everything, because then it's, you know, more synthesized, because all the effects are modulated by the same curve, so it's similar. So you can see it's also on the equalizer. It gives some high end, some compressor phaser. Yeah, and there is also another sound. At the beginning I created a whole melody. But at the end I realized it not going so well through the mix, so I just left with this one. I'm modulating it with this LFO. Yeah, and there is some distortion, reverb, hyperdimension, which gives your sound a more stereo effect. And to show you the mixer, there is a camel crusher. Or maybe I will just turn off effects for a while. It's really muddy. So I decided to make this sound more cutted with the low end, which you can see there. I cut some frequencies I didn't like also. I have also isotope trash. It's not big effect, but it gives a little bit more distortion. Yeah, so with this sound it creates the groove. Maybe to hear it better, I will show you the main part of bass, which is just the simplest wobble bass you can do. I made it by Massive. And this is like just one oscillator with this kind of wavetable. And the thing will make it wobbling. It's performer. You can use in beside of LFO in Massive. And this is like something like you can load some pre-made curves. I use this one to make it wobble. And you set it in more or less. I decided this level is gonna be okay. And this performer just is modulating the filter cutoff. so that's how it works. And I have a sub bass also. With sub bass there is not too much to talk about because sub basses are usually same for everything. It's just a sinus wave, I believe. Yeah, it's sine square. It's in the middle of wavetable, which gives something like between sine and square sound. There is a modulation for the attack, level, decay, and a little bit release on it, and nothing more special in the synth. I just cut the frequencies with the FL Studio equalizer. It's on the 16.4 Hertz and 35, and this is enough because I really like this kind of equalizer for sub basses because it gives you something like picture where the sound exactly is. So if you want to cut something or you don't like some frequencies, you can easily see where it is just by this red line. So if you're using FL Studio, it's really cool to check it out. And after it, I used a little bit Camel Crusher to make it fatter. It's hard to hear the fatness of sound because there is a big room, so you can't hear this stuff. I don't really know why I pick it so much, but I think this is the frequency which gives more power for the sound. Stereo enhancer, which is nothing on it, I don't know. And this is a main plugin I use for making side chains. This is a built-in FL Studio plugin, and it goes like oh sorry, it's not my fault. And it goes like LFO tool. You just setting curves how the volume of the sound is gonna go, and then you can just easily go with all the sounds. So together it sounds like this, pretty much, without the latency. I have also some marimba sound, and it's nothing special, it's just Nexus preset for the marimba. And I have also C6 on it, cutting some frequencies with helping red lines I just talked about. Some equalizer, another Camel Crusher, and a little bit reverb with Lex reverb. It's just like classic stuff of reverbs, and I really recommend it. It works well. And on the drop with the vocal, maybe I will turn it off to make you hear something. Yeah, I can't do anything with this latency, sorry. So this is just pretty much cut from this part of...
'Cause I can be your hero. I'll show you that
love is true, you know. And this is a... I can't sing, sorry, but I do my best. So this is just the cut, and it goes like twice on the normal level, and then I just pitch down 100% with 12 semitones, and it goes like that. I have also, what I have more there, some affixes, but I don't think it's worth to talk about. Mm, the percussion. Let me close everything one more time. This is kick drum. I guess by the name I did before, because sometimes I do something like session with the kick drums making, and I'm using a Sonic Academy kick for it. And I don't really using this plugin into the project because I'm just pre-making some kicks I really like. I'm putting in on the folders which tone they are, and then I'm just checking which kick drum I did before will fit the best for the track I just did. And this is perfect example of it. On the kick drum, nothing really happening. I'm just cutting some low end to make the space for the sub bass, because it's really important. If you making some low frequencies, they are always have a war, let's say. So the sub bass goes in this kind of, in this part of frequencies, and that's why it's so much cutted. Next part, also on this kick, I layered something from the, I believe it's Hit Kit samples. I really recommend it. And they having a lot of like natural sounds, and this is one of them, like, you know, real percussion. It's not like the main part of the kick, but on some kick drums it gives like more punch. Also the snares. This is more like rim shot. I believe it's also from this samples hit kit. It works well with the breakdown.
See me as I am.
It's like a long snare, just this on the breakdown, and when I starting with the drop, I'm adding some claps. Yeah, they are just showing you samples. One of them are more stereo, one of them are more mono. It's like I talked about on this screen. I just wanted to put there and there and there and there. So when I'm using some, actually I'm doing it a lot with the percussion. When I'm doing some clap layer, I'm doing a lot of sub layers and putting it on the different parts of panorama. Then I can have the claps like everywhere in the box. I have also like Rizzo snare, which is really fancy right now in these times, I guess. To make it more resonant, I'm using equalizer, because without it you can hear it has some low end I don't really like, and has much less Rizzo, and with this we can put it even louder. This is the exactly frequency we want to make it like lead frequency of this snare. That's why I use this really small bell on the equalizer. Side perk. I don't know what it is exactly. Yeah, it's not really something big. I use a lot of samples like you don't really hear too much in the mix, but they are filling something. So you can see it's not even stretched with the beat. All of the snares are like exactly on the time, and this is like a little bit too much maybe before the snare, but I like it because it gives a little bit more natural impression. I have also some more sounds. They are just like small sounds which fill the space. Some snares. Oh, this is crazy. It's like zip sample, but I really like it. It's like kind of original. Nobody using zip in the percussion, I guess. There is also much more snares. As you can see, I use a lot of layers on the percussion to make it like really fat. This is like plucky snare sound without effects. It's also a little bit muddy, but what gives it. And also I really like to use this tool. It's also from Waves, and sometimes it gives not really natural kind of sound. It's like creating stereo sound with phasing it, I guess. And I use it like a critical level with the build-up snare. And it's not really something you should do if you want to make something with the rules of making mix down. But I believe it's kind of original when you sometimes you put something like extremely wide or something. It's not really natural, but you can hear the sound when I turn off. It's like just a simple snare. I don't know if you can hear it well there, but it gives a lot of stereo image, which I really like. There are also some much more effects, like sweeps and stuff, but this is like nothing special. Oh, this is like for the vocals to fill, but the rest of them are just sweeps. So I can play you just the percussion to make you feel the groove I really wanted to make, because as you can see, not every of my track has this kind of kick drum syncopated rhythm, and there I really wanted to break this rule, so it's more like breaks groove. Okay, that's enough for my computer. And also, as you can hear the latency, I had also problem with it, even on my computer in home with the sound card. So I went with, I just bounced everything I had in this project, and I came to the other to make polishing. And what I had for now, sorry, maybe there is I don't know why it doesn't work. Give me a second. Oh yeah, I know why. Because I can't use two projects at the same time. This is Windows. Welcome in Windows. Okay, so I turn it off. Give him 1 sec. I guess this is gonna be the best way to make it. Oh yeah, it works. So let me open it from scratch. Step 2. Yeah, sure. So if we have just 5 minutes, I'm gonna show you the lead sound, which is the main part of the track. But I couldn't make it before because we were in different project. Okay, here we go. This is a part we talked about. We have just the vocal and the basses and the percussion, and I felt like there is lack of something. So I went through this for the first time. There's a couple of sounds there, creating it. First is this one. This is something like a little bit noise on it. You can see what effects I'm using on it. It's also vocodex, which gives this effect. Or maybe not. Vocodex is really cool, not even for making vocoder, but it gives some nice noise. If you're using FL Studio, you really should check this out. And this is the main sound. For those who are really curious how I did it, maybe I will start with the plugin. This is a massive sound. It's actually just sine square playing with this wavetables. I have 3 oscillators. One of this is like this, one is this. They even seem to be not really in the tone separated, but together they like, because of distortion and everything, I set it like it sounds on the tone. And just for the effects, as you can see, there is not so much difference. It's just setting up the stereo image. I checked it out how it works with the stereogram here. It's mainly like more in mono sound, but you can see it has some more stuff on the sides. A compression and just 2 fillers. With this it sounds like this. I also, in this project, added some percussion, but this is just small stuff. And there is also chords for the break, like really melancholic. I use Serum for that. It's the same way of thinking about the sounds like I showed you with the chords in previous project. There is not too much attack on it. With the second one, what modulates attack, it's somewhere there. So you can see it goes really slowly, like really soft. But it works really nice. As a background for the vocal. And on the drop, I will play all the stuff used in this project. And in the previous it was this. So yeah, together it goes. I think this sound was the main part. I decided to finish the track because it gives to the vocal on the break, on the drop, it gives something more value. I can show you also melody of it if you want to check. What it is? This is it. It's just really simple. It's like donkey sound. And it's really important in this kind of sound to put a lot of attack, because then you can hear a lot of click on it. So it's like really punchy then. You can also boost it with the compressor I did there with this one. So yeah, I guess it's pretty much everything in this track. I hope you learned something. But if you have some more questions, you can just ask right now, I guess. So yeah, don't be shy, you can ask everything you want. Yeah?
How did you come up with the kind of new style? Normally you really do electro house and stuff, but
Yeah,
kind of new, right?
I think I just wanted to check some new sounds because I was a little bit bored about the stuff I did in past. It's not like I don't really like it, but I'm like kind of person which really want to try something new, so that's maybe the reason.
And how did you start it? Did you get the vocals first, or did you make
It's a really long story under this track because first idea was totally different project, and on the chords on the break I had some vocals from the vocalist, and then I realized, oh, maybe it's good, but I have different idea for this track, so I left the vocals and I started from the scratch with the different project, and that's how it comes from. Yeah. Do you have some other questions? Yes? You? Master Chain. Master Chain is a different project. But don't worry, it's just simple. I'm doing master in other project because I like to have just the waveform, and because of the latency, and also I'm not just focused on tweaking sounds which can destroy the whole project with the master. So I just put the waveform, which I try to keep under -4 dBs, and then I put just isotope 5 and playing with it. Just in case, I'm cutting some frequencies to has less muddy mix, dynamics. As you can see, I'm setting dynamics. I don't know, I'm not like the best guy in master, I think, so I tried to learn from internet, and I realized from tutorial that the best way to use dynamics in isotope is just put this histogram, and then you can set this values. This value should be always on the biggest peak with the sound. So I'm setting it, and then I just compress it a little bit. Here it's like 1.5, here is like 1.2. It depends which part of the mix I want more compressed. There is also stereo imaging, but I'm not really using it on master. It's just to check how the stereo picture look like. This is just a small tweak on mid side, which means like side it's stereo and mid it's mono, and the maximizer. I'm using the soft option and just tweaking it like make it enough loud, and that's all. It's nothing really special, I guess. Do you have some more questions? Yeah?
Yeah, how did you get in touch with Nicky Romero and
I remember I met him on some of the festivals, and I just came to say hi, talk a little bit, and I told him like I have some stuff to send him, so he gave me his email, and I remember I think I sent him Siren, and that was my first release on Protocol Recordings. So yeah. Yeah. Other questions?
How long have you been producing for?
Maybe 6 years right now. I don't count too much, but it's around there, yeah. So yeah, we need to, yeah?
You can ask everything, also about his favorite color or food.
Yeah, I really like water.
What do you think about music scene in Poland?
Excuse me, one more time?
What do you think about the development of the EDM scene in Poland?
Yeah, EDM in Poland, it's kind of good. We have some nice festivals like Sunrise Festival. It's like the biggest. Yeah, and we have other festivals as well. I think Poland it's a little bit more underground sometimes because we have a lot of festivals, but they are more underground music, deep house and stuff. EDM, I guess Sunrise Festival, it's one to mention because it's like really big one. Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah. Other questions? Everything? Thank you so much.
So we're gonna have a small break from like 10 minutes to go to the toilet and something like that, and then we're gonna start with Nicky's masterclass. Monster Kill. Oh yeah! Masterclass. Give it up for Nicky Romero.
All right, let me see. So there's a bunch of people here. Thank you very much for coming. Well, my name is Nicky Romero, or Nick Rodderville, for those who've never seen me in the wild. So thank you so much for coming to the masterclasses, not only to mine, but also to all the others. I want to really, really thank all the crew for setting this up, and Bax-shop for arranging all this. It's a good opportunity to show a little bit how we work, and not only me, but also the other artists. Just for me, I just would love to know, there's a lot of people here. Is there Dutch people, probably, English people, producers, DJs? Who of you guys are all producing or just DJs? So if you're producing, can you let me know? That's a lot of people. Oh wait, there's people upstairs too. All right, awesome. So if you're producing, then we all know there's a lot of software that you can use to make your songs. There's Fruity Loops, Ableton, Logic, of course, Studio One. Yeah, that's really good too. No, it's kind of new. It's like a follow-up of Cubase, but then in a different, working with different people to set that up. But that's an amazing piece of software. Headhunters is using that software. Yeah, that's cool. Who is working with Logic here? All right, that's a fair amount. Fruity Loops, that's a lot too. Cubase, do we have some Cubase people here? No? Oh, you up there? Oh, I'll send you the link of Logic, that's fine. Just joking, man. It doesn't really matter what you're working with. It really, like the production process is similar, of course. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the song Take Me. It's a song that I've done last year together with the script. And the script really started the song as more like an open format, like a band. It was like a band demo, not so much produced. So it was just a vocal and with some drums and with some chords, and that was it. Then we stripped the whole song, and then I started again, and we just took the vocal, and then we got Colton, and Colton redone the vocal. Because the script had a different release schedule at that time. So, but it was really inspired on a song that started out as a band. So I tried to approach it the same way. It's really hard to talk about all the details, so I'm going to try to squeeze everything in and to make sure that it's going to be easy for you guys to understand what I'm trying to say. And also the level will probably be different from all of you guys. Some of them are really, really pro producers already. Some of them might be just starting. So I'm trying to be in the middle with all the stuff that I'm going to talk about. I will ask you guys if there's something that you want to know. I'll ask in between everything and try to ask if you can keep up with all the information. It's going to be hard for some. Maybe it's going to be easy for others. So don't blame me. I'm trying to be in the middle. Of course, especially now, music is taking such a different shape. The EDM world is changing. It's not just 128 anymore, which it was for a while. Of course, even Zac Efron done a movie about the 128 BPM stuff. I was in it as well for 2 seconds. But now the music is taking a whole different direction, which is great. I think it's great for everyone. I think it means that there's a lot of different possibilities now. But it's really hard to make a big step. Like your fans are not gonna understand if you're gonna jump from 128 to 108 or maybe even to 60, 70 and then back. So for me, that means I'm gonna have to make a transition. And for me, Take Me was one of the transitions. It really sounds a little different than my normal club songs, and it sounds more like a radio record, which it actually is, without being, in my opinion, without being too corny. Because that's going to be hard to make a radio song that's going to sound corny real quick. And if there's one thing I learned from, for example, David Guetta, is that a good radio record does not start as a radio record. It starts as a cool song, and then if it's going to be commercial later on, yes or no, that's depending on the production process. So with Take Me, this is a really interesting song because it started out, like I just mentioned, as a band. I'm gonna play a piece of the project if everything's working well. It should sound like the original one that's out. So let's see if it works.
The devil kicks the angel from my shoulder, says let's have some fun. You can get you.
So one of the most questions, well actually one of the most frequent questions I have received about this song was the guitar. A lot of people ask me if it's a real guitar that's playing. Well, most of it is not. Most of it is just software. And just because it takes so much time to have a guitar, like someone who plays very well, I don't really play well, so I need someone who's going to play it for me. At least the MIDI information that I try to play in Contact. So most of the time I'll just get a plugin and I'll just play it with the plugin. I'm too lazy to bounce it out and have someone else playing it. So most of that is just most of the project is plugins. We recently built a complete new studio, and it's called the Protocol Live Studio, where we have real drums, where we have some real piano, a grand piano, and a lot of guitars. So I believe in that, especially where the music is going now, that you're gonna need live instruments. And I mean not vengeance samples. I just mean like real live instruments. I'm gonna start recording drums myself. So most of the drum fills in there, not all of them, are done, are actually played by myself, or maybe a little bit adjusted digital-wise. But most of them are played by myself, and most of the piano and the chords, of course, are done by myself. And the layers of piano are also real piano layers. So. You have to sound different than all the Nexus pianos that are like the Dance 2K7. I mean, that's a really one that Avicii used in a lot of records. Well, he's been successful with it, so that's really cool. But I believe you're going to have to go to more live instruments. So then, I think it took us at least a month to find a drop for this song. Because as you guys probably know, if you have a song and then you have a nice chord progression, you have nice instruments, and then it's like the drop. What do we need at the drop? I'm pretty sure this sounds familiar to you guys. So how do you approach a drop? Well, that's really interesting, because first you have to know what direction you want to go. Is it going to be halftime? Is it going to be like a normal 128 beat, or maybe 127 in this case? And this really is depending on inspiration you have on that moment. And for me, on this song, it really came from Calvin Harris. Calvin Harris, I think, is one of the best examples of someone who brings good pop music, but then still in a cool way. If you look at his album, 18 Months, or his most recent album, like most of the songs could be clip records as well if the vocals were done differently or if they were arranged differently, but most of them could be clip records as well. So I took that information and I tried to make my own drop with Take Me, and well, the song Will Be Coming Back is an inspiration on this one. Abuga was an inspiration, and I think it works so much easier if you have inspiration to get your drop right. So the drop of this song is going to sound like this. So I think at least it took us, just like I mentioned, a really long time before we got this. And it sounds so easy, and it probably is easy to make, but we had this for a long time. And I was like, that's too empty. Something needs to happen here. So I talked to different friends, and I sent it to some other artists, and everybody said something else. So it really ended up with nothing. Because everybody has a different opinion, of course. But I thought this way it would sound too much like Robin Schulz, for example, but then a more high tempo, and I did not want to sound so much like someone else. And this in particular sounded a lot like Calvin Harris to me. So what I've done, I took this sound and I just made a quick riff with it. sounds a little bit cheesy if I play it solo, actually. So there's a small, like a little, we say in Dutch, we say roffel. I don't really know the English word for it, but it's like a quick, because that made it a little different than the rest. It's not even quantized right, but sometimes you get the coolest results if you don't really work quantized. Quantized is really cool if you're placing hi-hats, if you're placing kick drums, but when you're doing synths, it sometimes is much cooler to just don't use quantized and just use parts of it, or just partly quantized. And there's a really cool function in Logic for everybody who uses Fruity Loops and Cubase. I'm sorry if you don't have this the same way in Cubase or Fruity Loops, but it's called Humanize. And if I browse through the different things here, there should be a function somewhere here that says humanize. And if you use this, everything is going to get a different velocity and also like a little offbeat quantize. So if you look at the MIDI information here, you see red dots, and the red dots are slightly louder than the green dots. So that happens by using humanize, and you can basically select whatever you want to select. And I humanize it. As you can see, the notes get a little different in length, and they also have different velocity. And this makes it a little more alive somehow. So this is a trick I use in many, many different songs. This way, the synth is going to sound a little more natural and maybe a little less static, a little less digital. So the humanize function I used, that's why all the different colors were not red or blue or whatever whatnot, because it's different velocity. So all the notes have different lengths, and this way it breathes a little more, and this way it sounds a little more playful. So then another different thing when you're doing your song, especially when you're doing a drop, is layering different sounds. Because when you're programming a drop, there is always going to be the problem that your drop sounds too empty or too full. And how do you know that you have just the right amount of different sounds? That is really interesting. So just for my own opinion, if you guys are doing are most of you guys doing house or different kind of sounds, if there's anyone doing experimental stuff, but if you're doing house, especially on 128 or 126, 127, you're going to have the problem that it's going to either sound too, everything is going to sound too fast or too slow. So how do you moderate the slow and the fast feeling in a song by using synths? Well, I had the same problem with Take Me on the 127, because this is definitely sounding too slow. If I would mute this synth here, and if I play it out with this. Well, it really feels super slow, and then there's a lot of space for something that that you can get in there to make it a little more, a little more alive, a little more like it's speeding up a little bit. And then I try to figure out, so what can I use to make it a little more, to make it sound a little less slow. It took a long, long time before I came up with this thing. It sounds very cheesy in solo, but then if you layer it a few different sounds, it's going to sound a little fatter, and it's going to fill the spectrum a little bit more. Maybe for those that signed up with my YouTube channel, I do SMCs, which is like masterclasses of production, where I try to explain information on my mixes and on my tracks. And there's this one thing called harmonic mixing. And harmonic mixing is something that's really, really helpful when you're trying to get your drop right, and also where you're trying to get your layers right. So, for example, if you produce a song in F or in G, you want to make sure that you don't have other frequencies bothering your main synth. In this song, it was really easy, because if you're playing this out, basically it has all the information it needs. Maybe with some white noise. So one of them is humanized, so that's why they don't sound so equal now. But So how can harmonic mixing help you to get your song sound well and to make sure that you don't have to squeeze a limiter so your song is going to be still loud enough? For example, when you're working in G or in F, there's this very nice website. I'm not sure if I have internet here, but it's called Wikipedia, and it's called harmonic EQ, and it will tell you exactly in what key, what frequencies are being used. And you can actually check it out yourself as well. If you get an EQ right here, go to channel EQ. It sounds horrible now because of that humanized example, but well, you can see exactly what's going on. You can also see where the biggest part of the information is happening, and it's right here. And because the song has chord progressions, it's going to change all the time. But there's a few different frequencies where things are happening. And if you look at the analyzer here, you see a big part of the song is focused on is right here. So knowing that, you can actually cut everything below. You can cut everything below the frequency that you can see where it has its most energy. So, and you see there's a big gap here. Well, this is not the right EQ for it, but I'm just going to show you how to use it. So, then there's a peak right here, and you can use the EQ in different bands to have the right accents on the right places. So by following this way of EQing, you can match your sound and you can shape it the way that it only takes the information it needs in the EQ spectrum. And this way there's going to be a lot of space left to master your song. And it's going to be a little bit harder when your song has chord progressions. But when your song has just like one key where everything is working, it's a really nice tool to get your song sound fat, because there is a lot of information left if you do this with every instrument. Well, as you can see, this is like a quick example, but if you can apply this on different instruments and different sounds, that means there's going to be a lot of space left in the mix to get it loud and to get it sounding fat in the end. So a good sounding master is always about space in the mix, and if your mix is too full, it's not going to sound fat, because you just need space to get everything loud. Well, this is I'm trying not to focus too much on mixing now, but it's just so hard to get everything explained in just a short time notice. So that part of harmonic mixing is really important. Just look at the key, go to Wikipedia, there's this page called harmonic mixing or harmonic EQing, and then you'll find the notes matching the key that you're working in, and make sure you EQ around that frequency. And everything you don't need, just cut it away, because it will only take space in your mix, especially low cuts on every instrument. Like a main synth does not need anything below 150 for sure, maybe even 200. And the vocal doesn't need anything under 150. And if you have a male vocal, it's going to be a lower low cut than when you have a female vocal. But you always have to see what's happening with an analyzer to see where it's working the most on your frequency spectrum. So this I've done with Take Me a lot, and it means that you have a lot of space left. And this way it sounds very open and not even too full. Well, I changed some of the what's the thing called here? Humanizing, so that's gonna mess up this part here, but you know what I mean. What's interesting about this song as well is all the music, the chord progression going on here.
I'll pay the price tomorrow for the crazy things I do tonight. Yeah. What is about this time of night that makes the wrong things feel so right. Right, right, right. Whoa, take me to the heaven.
So there's a lot of bounces here because I lost my laptop in Japan, and it's somewhere in between Holland and Japan now, I think. So I have to work on one of my friend's laptops. So thanks, Niels, for borrowing me your laptop. That's the reason why there's some bounces here and there, why it doesn't sound exactly the same, because the project is causing some troubles here and there. And but it's about the big picture. Anyway. I want to ask you guys if there's something about this song in particular that you want me to talk about. Otherwise, I would love to just explain a little bit more. But if there's something in particular, any questions that people might want to ask? All right. Yeah, of course, that's a good one. The kick and bass. So this is something that is really, really taking a lot of time. Because the kick and bass is probably the most important thing next to the arrangement and the song composing, of course, to the song. It causes a lot of trouble for a lot of people, and it really is, especially I think 60% is your space that you're working in. Because to get your kick and your bass right, you need to make sure that you hear it well first. Because if you don't hear it well, how are you going to fix something? So make sure that you have a good headphone, and I would recommend, for example, the QC25 of Bose, or maybe even the Beyerdynamic DT990 Pro, because that's headphones that have the ability to show you low end, and then it's easier to fix. Because I would start there, and if you have a good space with good acoustics, then you can do it in your studio, of course. But it's really hard to fix something if you don't hear it right. So that's the first step, and then I think. Again, it's really important to have a look at your frequency spectrum to see what's happening and what is the kick drum actually doing. Are you using a big kick drum, like a long one or a small one? And because if you use a long kick drum, it's going to take a lot of space in the mix, which means that you cannot have a bass playing at the same time. Otherwise, it's gonna kill the space in your mix. With this song, I use a very small kick. I made it a long, long time ago. It's called Romero Feb 2012. That is the bass. That means that the kick is 4 years old. Doesn't really matter, it's about the punch. And if you look at the bass here and the kick drum, it's really, really not complicated at all. But I am very, very lucky because I have a studio where I can hear everything very well. It makes it much easier to get it right. But first, the most important step is to find the right sidechain. Like, how do you find the right sidechain settings to your kick? Now, there is a plugin, and it's called, I'm not sure if it's on this laptop, because mine is still in between Japan and the Netherlands, but there might be a plugin here installed that shows it very well. Let me see if it's here. Exactly. I talked about it in one of the SMC Masterclasses on YouTube, but I don't think it's here. The Bram Electrics. Nee, staat er niet op, hè? Nee. So there is a plugin. I don't have it here then, but there is a plugin and it's called, yeah, exactly, by Bram something. Can you maybe bring your laptop here with yours, maybe? Doesn't really matter. So what it shows you, and the plugin, what it shows you is, if you're playing the kick solo, it shows you exactly how long the waveform is. And if you know how long the waveform is, then it's going to be much easier to have your sidechain settings right. Because if you look at the frequency of the sample, then you can tell exactly where you need the sidechain. And sometimes you only have to sidechain the low part of the kick. That, for example, with the Vengeance multiband sidechain. But in my case, I use my own sidechain plugin a lot, which is called Kickstart. And if Niels does not have this plugin, I'm going to have to punch him in the face. But doesn't really matter. He just started producing, so Anyway, exactly, it's that one, yeah. So thank you very much. Can I borrow your laptop for a second? Yes, thanks. All right, so this is the plugin I'm talking about. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. But this shows you exactly what your kick drum is doing. And do you have a kick drum here somewhere? Yeah. So this is awesome. I'm doing a masterclass without the right plugins, but at least it's about the effect. But what the most important thing is that it shows you exactly where to place your sidechain. And this kick drum is not very, very long, as you can see. Actually, it's very short. So that means I have a lot of space to do my sidechaining. And I have a lot of space to have a bass playing at the same time. And if I look at the sidechain settings for this bass, it's just a compressor of Logic because it sounds the most natural to me. Sometimes if you use a volume shaper, or if you use the LFO tool, or even my own kickstart plugin, it's not going to sound natural enough for certain songs. And this song was not really working well with another sidechain. Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Thank you very much. So this is the plugin, and it shows you very well. I'm not sure if you can see it, that the kick drum has a certain length. And if you change the kick drum's length, it's gonna change also the, how you said it, the image of the kick drum here. And if you have a bass playing, for example, I'm gonna switch on do you have a bass as well here? Toban. Yeah, so if you have a bass playing, it's going to show you exactly if it's sidechain enough, yes or no. So it's about the big picture. And as you can see, I'm using the normal compressor of Logic here. It's linked to a sidechain bus, which is bus 3, and it gets a signal. Let me see, right here. It gets a signal, I think, on top here. There is this. Yeah. I always use a trigger, and it's built in a plugin from Logic itself, Ultra Beat, and it's called the rim shot. And the rim shot is a very, very short sound that really triggers the sidechain. That's it. Because the longer the trigger, the longer the side, like the more time it takes before the sidechain kicks in. So I make sure that I have a very short trigger, and this way my sidechain will work very quickly. So just Logic, and it's routed to a bus, and it's linked to a sidechain here. As you can see, it's going to bus 3. So, are you producing a song? Oh, thanks. Thanks, yeah. Awesome, thank you very much, that's great. So, thank you very much. There's a good example here of what's going on when you're using this plugin. So what's in between here is bass, and the big parts here is the kick. That's what's peaking. And if it looks like, I'm gonna exaggerate a little bit here. So this is gonna show you the bass probably. And as you can see, there's already a short sidechain going on because it stops exactly at the spot where the kick should be. So how do you make sure it sounds fat enough? Well, just make sure that the bass does not kick in until the kick is gone. And this is a plugin that can show you exactly when it's gone. That's why I used it so much. So it's called the Smart Electronics by Bram and Sean's. I think it's even a free plugin, and it's really helpful getting your kick and your mix right. Thank you very much for wearing that. And I think another thing is also make sure that you low-cut it the right way. Especially for this song, Take Me, there's 2 different layers playing the same thing. And if you have 2 different basses, that means that you have to cut one or the other. Otherwise, it's going to be too much in the mix. So this one is cut at like 140. And as you can see, I made a really small volume adjustment here. I made it a little bit louder at around 245 because that's where the energy is of this song in this particular key, and that is again this harmonic mixing. Even I could high cut the bass here, but I was just too lazy to do it probably. But the more you cut away, the more space you have in the mix, which means that your mix can be louder. And this part is probably this is going to be just a sine wave, so it does not have like a top end, but it is low cut at 50. I actually do a low cut on my master chain, and it's always going to be something around 30 to 40 hertz, because everything below that, in my opinion, is not working on a big PA. It's just going to make sure that, or when you don't cut the bass out, then if you play it live, then it cannot be as loud as a low-cutted song, because the limiters will just kick in and they will just make sure they duck your sound. That sucks. It sounds really bad. So that's how I do it. That works well for me. And I hope that I answered your question that way. Yeah. Anything else? Anyone else? Yeah. Yeah? Sure.
Take me to the heaven I know. Take me to the heaven I know, where the angels are around me.
So mixing live drums is something totally different than mixing digital drums, because live drums have a lot of headroom. That means that you have to give them the space. Like a digital kick drum is just like tack, and that's it. And a live drum also has the attack of the hammer hitting like the how you say that, like the first shield. I don't even know how to name it, but. Anyway, there's different sounds creating an analog kick drum. That's really hard to get it right. And what I do is just I don't limit, I don't compress, I just EQ it a little bit to make sure, again, with harmonic mixing, that I have the right accent at the right frequencies. Because also the analog kick drum has a certain tone. It has a certain key. So I make sure I cut away everything below, and the kick drum of an analog drum kit does not have to be so low as a kick in a digital, for example, at the drop, because I make sure I low cut everything under 60 or 70 on an analog drum kit. That means that the bass has a lot of space to move freely. So I can just have a sine wave playing here without any trouble, because you cut everything below 60 to 70 on an analog drum kit. And next to that, there's a tool, it's called Brainworks Control, and there you can have like a nice stereo mix. You can widen the toms and you can widen the cymbals a little bit more than it normally is. And this way you have like a nice and wide analog drum kit working together with the bass, because it takes no space in the mix. But there's no particular mixing part. It's just listening what works best for you. And if you don't have an analog drum kit, I would just use Contact, because Contact has great drum kits. For example, the 80s or the 70s, 60s drum kit. That sounds great. Yeah. Anyone else with a particular question on this song? Yep. Yeah, so that is a really good question. The vocal processing, of course, is for every song. It's different. Even the reverbs and the delays are different for every BPM. But what I do most, I think on this part, let me see here. I think I did all the processing in a different project because it just takes up too many different plugins. But there is a plugin, it's from Waves, and it's the CLA. I thought it was called CLA Vocals right here. That really works well. This is like a quick fix for everything. You can compress really easily, you can layer really easily. But I would just put this on an auxiliary, and if you have 6 different parts of vocals singing at the same time, I would just like manually widen them with left and right instead of just using a plugin like Brainworks, because then you have phase problems. And you can, I would just rather have, if you have the ability to talk to the vocalist, I would just rather ask him to sing it like 12 times the same piece. and then you have 12 takes to choose from, and then you just pick the best ones. And most of the times for a chorus, maybe that's like 4 or 5 different layers, maybe even 6, and then you have an octave up playing the same or singing the same part. And then you put this on the auxiliary of all that, vocals playing at the same time, and it's going to give you a nice quick result of how it should sound like when it's finished, or when it's right in the mix. You have like a nice option here to add a little bit of reverb. You have a little bit of compression, so it's a little more in your face. And then a really nice plugin I use a lot is, I don't think we have the UAD here, but I think Waves has a simulation, and it is right here, the Puke Tech. And this is a trick that I learned from a producer that produces with, or actually a lot of songs for Rihanna. He always adds the 12K here, and he boosts it a little bit to get like the nice, like the breathy sound in your vocal. Like you hear like a lot of like the breath part of your voice. So, and it makes it really breathy, and to me that sounds great on almost every song and on almost every voice. So the Puke Tech has a different version for UAD as well, and then it's called the Pultec Pro Legacy, I think. So that is the, then I do like a little bit of FAB filter with the timeless EQ, the EQ, the FAB filter EQ, the newest one. Let me see if I have it here. So the Pro Q2 here, and this is a really nice EQ, and same as the Logic one. It shows you directly the result on what you're doing in an analyzer. And there's much more cool stuff with the Pro Q that you can do, like you can rip out kick drums and everything from a song, but it really works well with the vocal processing as well. But next to that, an H delay works great from Waves, just to give it a little bit of delay. And I don't use a lot of verb, but if you use verb, there's the EOS of audio damage, and that sounds really amazing. It's a really small plugin. It does not use a lot of your CPU, and it sounds really amazing. Just a few knobs, and you have a nice verb. Yeah, hopefully that answered your question. But there's a whole different topic, like mixing vocals. I still have to learn a lot. Yeah.
So what's your favorite plugins for bass sounds?
For the bass sounds, well, with bass, like the real bass in most of my projects comes from the sine wave, because the sine wave, you have a lot of control over your sine wave. Like if you have a nice cool sample, I always cut out all the lows from a sample, because you never know how it's behaving. And with the sine wave, you know exactly how it's behaving because it's MIDI controlled. And I would always just go for an EXS24 if you're working with Logic. And otherwise, there's great sine waves in the Nexus even. I can maybe open one here. Or actually, do we have a dongle? Yeah? Oh. Let me see if we can open it real quick. And there's a preset in Nexus that has amazing bass. Well, there's new plugins so fast that have great sinus as well, but and it's right here. It's just a sine wave, and it's right in the folder of bass, and this one sounds great. And I just put a small overdrive, like a distortion here, overdrive, on top of it to have it a little bit in your face, the drive a little bit back here. And this way it's straight in your face. Let me see if I can, no. If I can open musical typing. Oh. So it really sounds nice and easy real quick. And then the cool part, if you do it with Nexus, is that you also have a control to have a portamento or to have a small effect going on, or you can even adjust it with the mod wheel. And with the Nexus, it sounds really, and it works really easy. That's why I use it. Yeah. So any more questions on Take Me, the song? That's easy. One more? Yeah. So John Christian is a really good friend of mine, so I know exactly. I I've been working in his studio for 2 years, so we learned a lot from each other. What he is doing with the LFO tool, he's using it in 2 different ways. So one is ducking, like the normal sidechain part that you have is ducking the sound that you want to sidechain, and then he puts another one on top to have a little bit more control. And then there's another one that's just like making sure that before the first transient of the kicks in, it's already ducking. And let me see if I can show you real quick what I mean. Level tool. So what he is doing, for example, is this could be his first, and he always puts on smooth a little bit. And what he's doing basically he's doing this. Oh. Really aggressive, and then he's putting on another one. So let's copy it real quick. And then he does this. Oh, that's linked now. So he does this to make sure that the transient, even the first transient of the kick, is being ducked by the second LFO tool, just to make sure that you have nothing playing at the same time of the transient, which means there's more air in the mix so it can be louder again. And if someone's loud, it's John Christian on his record, because he's one of the loudest that I know. But that's also because of multiband compressing. He does a lot with the C4 of waves, making sure he's squeezing all the low end all together. It has to be your taste, but if it's loud, yes, it's extremely loud. Yeah. One more? The tail, yeah. Well, you can cut the tail using a sidechain, but I would not prefer using a plugin to do that. I would just rather prefer to cut it off by sample. Then you have more control again. Otherwise, yeah, exactly. Yeah. If that was it, I'm sorry, but then you can just also chop it off by using sample or just audio. Yeah. Could be both ways. I want to thank everybody very much for coming to check out this tutorial and masterclass. Again, Bax-shop and all the team. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you want to know more about production, I do a lot on YouTube. It's called SMC. You can just subscribe, and I'll talk about songs and different techniques every time. A little bit more in-depth for the ones that are interested. Once again, thank you very much. Yeah, sure.
What's your advice on somebody who's trying to get noticed? Not somebody who's produced, trying to produce, but somebody who's trying to get noticed. Or a step in the industry. What's your thoughts on that and advice on that?
To get noticed?
Yeah, what's your advice on that? What should upcoming producers do to get noticed?
To get noticed, I think it's the most important thing that you have your own sound. Because, if you're going to produce something that sounds like another artist, then there is the other artist that's doing it better all the time. So if you create your own sound, it can be only you and done by you at that moment. But make sure that you have at least 3 records in that sound before you release the first one. Otherwise, people are going to copy your sound when it's successful, and then other people rip it off with your kind of sound. So I would just have 3 records ready before doing that. And then make sure that you send one of the 3 to a label, and not all 3, otherwise they have it copied by someone else. And then there's a really big label here. I'm not going to name any names, but it's doing it that way. Make sure that you have 3 songs ready, and that you just have, that you just send one out to all the labels. And there's a good opportunity here on ADE by just going to all the hotels and all the different meetings, the demo drops, and then just play it out. But you're going to get noticed when you have high quality songs and when you have a unique sound. And if you have both of that, there's a big chance that you get noticed and that you have success. Yep. Thank you very much.
So for those who are interested, Niels and I are going to listen to some demos of you guys, if you are interested in it. And also downstairs we are selling some protocol merchandise. It's here. Yeah, of course. wij hier doen?
We want you to experience the true sound of music.
Grab my headphones. So you can drop it or I can listen to it if you want. Just two options. What do you want? You want some feedback or just dropping the demo? That's also fine.
So if you listen to a feedback.
Funkation.
Yes.
No vacation or funkation.
Jazz, real funk stuff with banging.
All right.
We interview national and international artists about what inspires them to make music. Music is in our soul, and we want to inspire you with our music sessions. Our product demos and reviews provide you with the best information.
Hoi, ik ben Jim van Bax-shop en vandaag gaan we het hebben over het nieuwe ADE systeem.
Bax Music is the biggest music store of Holland and Belgium.